When you force yourself to do things that you genuinely, in your heart, in your body, you genuinely do not want to do this thing, but you force yourself to do it because you feel like you have to, what this does is it shifts you onto a timeline where in your life you have a lot more things that you don't want to do. When you force yourself to do things because you feel like you can't afford otherwise, you feel like you have to go to that event, otherwise your family will be mad at you. Or you have to show up to your job, otherwise you'll get fired and you'll be homeless and broke. You have to do this specific sales video in this specific way, otherwise you won't make money. You have to put a thumbnail on your video. You have to work today, even though realistically, deep down in your soul, really all you want is rest. When you force yourself to do things you don't want to do, it communicates to your subconscious mind that you are someone who is not allowed to be free. When you're doing things in your life that you genuinely don't want to do, you're taking actions because you feel like you have to, or you made a commitment, or you're obligated to do this thing, you're backed into a corner, you have no choice. I really, more than anything, would love to just stay home and rest today, but I have to go do this job, or I have to go do this thing that I hate, but there's some reason. It's the bills. They're going to hate me if I don't. So when you go against your authentic self, it makes you poor energetically inside, which then makes you poor physically outside, in terms of your money, in terms of your relationships, in terms of just your life circumstances are not the circumstances that you authentically want, because you're not doing what you authentically want. The biggest illusion that I was taught, that was installed into me and in many people, the biggest illusion in culture in general. My dad really installed this idea into me when I was young, but this is just like a general thing, is the idea that in order to succeed in your life, in order to create the life that you love, the life that's fun, that's free, that's effortless, that's relaxing, that's enjoyable, that's exciting. In order to get that life, you have to first do a bunch of shit that's not fun, that's not exciting, that's not relaxing, that's forced, that's hard. Now, I'm not saying that success in life doesn't involve some amount of taking action. Yeah, there is some amount of taking action involved, but there's an intelligent, wise way to take action that isn't forced, that doesn't feel like a grind, that doesn't feel like nails on a chalkboard. Like for me, when I was getting started with making YouTube videos a few years ago, and I was wanting it to become my full-time job as a life coach, I thought, in order for me to succeed, in order for me to increase my subscribers, to get full-time clients, so that I can do this for my job, I thought that I had to force myself to appear professional. And I had to force myself to make videos that I didn't authentically want to make. Because just like many artists fall into this trap, I started my journey and I was kind of just doing it for fun, making the videos that I wanted to make, that was authentic for me. But then it gets to a point when you want to go pro, then you start looking to other people to take advice from them, to see, oh, how do I go pro? Oh, I have to make this kind of video. It has to be this long. It has to have this quality or this type of energy. It has to have this type of intro. It has to have this type of thumbnail. I have to basically do something that someone else is telling me to do, even if it goes against my own heart and my own childlike desire to relax and play. In order for me to succeed in my life, I have to go against my childlike desire to relax and play. Because then, later, I'll be able to relax and play. Later. But for now, I need to sacrifice my happiness, my childlike radiance, my wisdom, my internal intelligence, my heart intelligence. I need to sacrifice that just temporarily. Because then later I'll be able to have fun and relax. Like a child on vacation. Because that's what everyone wants. I coach hundreds of people. It's essentially the same desires, just repeated in different flavors. It's always some flavor of, you know what, man, I just kind of want to just relax and be free. I've spoken to hundreds of people over the years. I've asked them, I get deep into their minds. What do you really want? Because on the surface, people say, well, I want more money, or I want to succeed in my career, or I just really want a girlfriend, or I really want a boyfriend, or I really want to live, to do my passion for a living and all of this. It's a kind of, okay, that's fine. But when you ask, why do you want that? So take the thing you want, and then ask yourself, why do I want this? Why? What will that give me once I get it? Oh, well then once I get that thing, then I can kind of just chill out. And then do what I want. Oh, I can have fun. I could then be more authentic. I could express myself. I could live life on my terms. So the illusion, here's the chief illusion. Ready? Get ready. The chief illusion. If I do what I don't want today, then one day tomorrow, I'll be able to do what I want. This is the trap. This is the big trap. This is the trap that I fell into for many years, making videos that felt forced because I was trying to copy someone else, because I thought if I didn't, grind and wake up at 5 in the morning for months, I would wake up at 5 in the morning and go for runs and then take cold showers. There's nothing wrong with doing these things if that's what feels authentic for you. But if you're doing it as in this grind hustle mentality, well, thinking that success requires suffering, like the way I would do it, unconscious, because I didn't know any better. My dad, all he would tell me is just work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard. Grind, hustle, grind, hustle, grind, hustle, grind, hustle. Then later you'll be happy. I thought, well, in order for me to succeed in my life, I have to be someone who I'm not. I have to put on, I have to make sure my hair is tied back. If someone wants coaching, I can't be a professional if I have long hair. How can I know how to help someone in their life if my hair is too long, or if I'm wearing a shirt that doesn't have a collar, or if my videos aren't, having this serious professional sort of quality? Why would anyone want to work with me? So the key illusion, which we're going to talk about more, how this illusion even works. The key illusion is that I need to fundamentally go against my childlike impulses, like my heart, my genuine playful funness, like who I really authentically am as a human being who's just naturally inherently good and intelligent and valuable and likable. I have to go against that. I have to not be me. in order to receive validation, approval from my parents. This is, it's a pattern that is baked in there when you're very young through conditioning. It's just like reward, stimulus, reward, right? So for example, when I was a kid, I remember I was always forced to like go to these church meetings that like I would go to church, like my parents would take me to church as a family event, and I'd have to sit there in the pew listening to this old man who has clearly no embodiment of any spirituality at all, but he's just like, he barely speaks English, just like droning on, no, 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 God, no, no, no. The Bible, no, no, from Corinthians, no, no, no. That's how he sounded to my 6-year-old ears. Why the fuck would I listen to this person when I could just like go leave the church and go look at the trees or roll in the grass or play with my games or do what I want to do? So when I was very young, it was conditioned into my mind that I'm not allowed to do what I want to do, because then my parents will hate me. They'll get mad at me. They'll hit me or yell at me or withdraw their love or ground me. They'll take my things away. So the fundamental thing that was kind of stewing in my mind for 20 years, that literally ruined my life, I didn't realize was this childlike trauma just being repeated of like, if I had the motherfucking audacity, the wild, unhinged audacity to just think that I have the freedom and the authority to be who I genuinely am, and I don't have to like feed into this collective groupthink of like, oh, we all have to sit at church, we all have to like, do shit we don't want to do, we have to go to school, we have to sit in the chair, we have to learn French. This was so stupid. I remember I was really inspired. A friend of mine, he said that when he was young, he hated learning Italian in school. It was like, I live in a very Italian area and we were forced to just learn Italian, and it's okay. It would be okay if it was taught well, but it really wasn't. So my friend, in a stroke of genius, he was, a lot of kids inherently, we have this inner authority. Your heart, your kids are more connected to their hearts. Their hearts know that they deserve to do what they want to do. So my friend told his parents, he said, hey, I really don't want to do Italian class. I'm not going to do it. I won't do it. I refuse. And then he was able to get a note or whatever, and then he didn't have to do Italian class. He just, like, when everyone else was forced to do something they didn't want to do, maybe a couple kids did, but I'd say the majority didn't want to do it. My friend was just kind of sitting there drawing or playing on the computer, doing what he wanted to do. So the illusion here, so what's going to happen as I'm saying this is there's going to be all these fears popping up in your mind. But Adam, don't I have to like play the social game? Don't I have to follow like the rules? Or don't I have to like do what other people tell me to do in order to succeed? And I'm not telling you to be a complete delinquent and never consider other people at all. What I'm talking about here is you be yourself and you allow other people to be themselves. And you don't hurt them. So don't hurt other people. So all of this information I'm sharing with you today, it actually came from a book called Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. I was doing my best, figuring out how to start my coaching business, reading hundreds of books, all kinds of law of attraction and reality creation, success, how to have habits, how to go after your goals, how to meditate, all this stuff was just really filling my mind with information because I was set on the idea of succeeding. Reality Transurfing was a book that really was like, it helped, how do I explain it? It was like, it set fire to my heart. It was something that reminded me the truth. In the book, he talks a lot about, like, you don't have to listen to your mind's ideas of what you should do in order to succeed and be happy in your life. Because those ideas are not authentic to you. Actually, your mind is filled with plaque that comes from absorbing ideas from culture. So as you grow up, you're watching TV, you're playing games, you're talking to friends, you're listening to your parents, your teachers. All of these hand-me-down ideas and beliefs, they form plaque in your mind. And it creates fear, and what it does is it creates disharmony between the mind and the heart. So the heart genuinely wants to take the day off and go to the park and play and frolic. But the mind says, no, we have to do homework today. And then even just the thought of this makes the heart feel like, no, please, homework, no, anything but that. It's like this dry, dead, empty feeling in your chest, and you're like, no, please, like everything contracts. You're like, no, not that, please, for the love of God, anything but that. But the mind is very intelligent. The mind is like, listens to all the adults. It's a very adult, rational way to think. Says, no. We have to do homework. Because then, if we don't do homework, then we will fail our class. Then our parents will ground us. Or even if, your parents aren't like that, maybe it's with your job. It's the same thing. Well, we have to go to our job because then we will be homeless. Remember that one time you had no money to buy food? Yeah, do you want that to happen again? No, you don't. So you have to grind and hustle. You can't afford to go to the park and frolic and play and live in the vibrational energy of I am free. I am abundant. I am on vacation now. I'm living on my highest timeline. I get to do what I want to do today because it's my life and I'm the creator of my life. I'm the authority in reality. There's no higher authority than me. It's like Gandhi, for example, when he was doing non-violent resistance in India. The Brits were colonizing India and oppressing the Indian people. And Gandhi and many of the Indians were sick of it, but most of the people didn't realize that they had the internal authority to just not listen to the Brits. It's called non-violent resistance. You don't fight. You don't have to create a war or an uprising to earn your freedom. What Gandhi realized deep in his soul through meditation, spiritual work, what he realized is actually as a human being, he has inherent freedom and authority. The Brits could force him to do these things, but he is free to resist, to not listen, to not no one's ever going to force you to do something. They might beat you, they might put you in jail, they might starve you. Even if you are forced, on an extreme case like Viktor Frankl in the Holocaust, you're forced to shovel the ashes of your dead relatives, this horrible, horrendous stuff that the plaque, the pendulums, the collective thoughts love to kind of put these images in front of you so that you don't follow your heart. Even if you're forced to do the horrendous, heinous things, Viktor Frankl said, I still retained the last of the human freedoms. The freedom to choose how I relate to events. Do I interpret them as positive or do I interpret them as negative? So the last of the human freedoms is to choose your state, to choose the way you look at things. And now let's be real, guys. Realistically, you are not currently in a concentration camp in the Holocaust. Okay? It's a horrendous thing, and that's not where your life is right now, okay? You're you're nowhere near there right now. You're doing okay actually, and you're not going to end up there. All right? So we don't need to even sometimes we have to take it to the extremes just to show that even in the worst case scenario you still are a sovereign being who has authority to be your best self. We have to go to these extremes, but realistically, like, the reason why we do this is because another thing Transurfing talks about is like, you should accept the worst case scenario. Like, worst case scenario, yeah, maybe I'll not have money for a couple months. Yeah, okay, so worst case scenario, I would maybe have to get a job at the grocery store and put apples on the shelf. Okay, that's the worst case scenario. Can I be okay with that? Can I trust that I'll be okay still? And that I still have the power to choose my reality, even though maybe temporarily short term I have to put some apples on the shelf? Will I be okay? Even if I have to shovel shit? See, what I'm talking about is you have the authority, the power to choose what you want to do during the day. You have authority and power, and you have freedom and even safety. This is the other thing, is just fundamentally in your body, you don't feel safe to say like, I am free to just go for a walk today, smoke a joint. I'm free to masturbate when I please. I'm free to take the day off to hang out with my friends, to sing and dance. I'm free to show up the way I want to show up in my business, because of fundamentally you're not trusting, you're not having faith in God. And God is speaking to you through your emotions, through your heart, and is giving you signals of like what feels exciting on a moment-to-moment basis. Because like, think about it, on a moment-to-moment basis every single day, from when you wake up in the morning to when you go to sleep, in each moment you have a variety of options of things you could do. You could get out of bed, you could brush your teeth, you could go for a walk, you could read a book, you could open your phone. The point is that in order to be on your highest timeline, where you are living the life that feels authentic for you, where your job is aligned with your goals, or sorry, your job's aligned with your heart and your vision and who you want to be, and not even who you want to be, but who you are already deep down. Your job is aligned with that. Your relationships are aligned with that. Your life is aligned with that. You're being your true self. In order to get that life, to live on that timeline, you need to start now, in the now moment, shifting to the timeline now, where now I get to live on vacation and do what I want. Now I get to be my true self, to express authentically. So the reason that prevents you from doing this, why you would hold yourself back to kink the flow of free-flowing creative energy of just authentic self-expression, the reason why you kink the flow is because of inflated importance. You've made the situation too important. You think you really genuinely have something to lose. Like when you're going to talk to a girl and you've put her on a pedestal even before you've met her. You don't even know who she is, but she's already on a pedestal, because you think that if you could just get her, then you'd be happy inside. But the secrets that I'm giving you in this video, the creation codes I'm giving you in this video, is that focus on doing what already makes you feel happy inside on a moment-to-moment basis. Follow your highest excitement on a moment-to-moment basis. Even if it's leading down a path that doesn't seem practical, the pendulums that have hooked into your mind and have created this plaque I've made a 2-hour video about pendulums. Go check that out if you don't know what that is. It's a very detailed concept from transurfing. It's essentially group think that kind of hypnotizes you into thinking you need to do all this shit that you don't want or like, and it causes you to almost be an NPC in someone else's movie. Instead of being in your own frame, being the main character in your own movie and just doing what you authentically want in each frame of the movie, the pendulum will hook you and say, yeah, I know you don't want to do this shit, but like you have to for this reason A, B, and C. And the pendulums are very convincing. So, like for example, I have to go to work because then I'll be poor. And if for example, when I was making coaching videos and I was trying to get more clients, I would like try to be professional, try to be someone that I thought I needed to be in order to get clients. And what this did is it caused me to go against my inner child, my inner excitement, my authentic desire to just be a slovenly goof. Sometimes I'm a goof, even when I make these videos. It's rambly. I'm joking around. It's not a big deal. I like to have fun. That's my style. When I coach, it's a relaxing, in the moment, genuine connection. It's not this like pre-planned, pre-thought out, professional agreement of like, oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. Now, that being said, I am a professional coach. I'm certified, and I've done all my research and read my books, and I've coached hundreds of clients. So at the same time, I've put in the work. But in hindsight, in retrospect, it would have been better if I put in the work, not in this grinding, hustling sort of way, but if I did it in a more fun, relaxed, authentic way that didn't feel like forced. Waking up at 5 and forcing myself to study instead of this shit, which is just pendulums hooking into you with a sense of inflated importance. Because when you put something on a pedestal, like I was putting coaching clients on a pedestal, right? The laptop lifestyle, it's so prestigious. It's like out there, like, oh, if only I could get that. Put that on a pedestal. It's like out there. So when something is further away from you in your mind on a pedestal, that means you need to grind and hustle and pretend to be someone you're not, to force and go against your heart. You can't just relax and play because the thing is so far away. You see, energetically, the thing is so far away. What I'm saying is that when you afford yourself the permission to relax and play and have fun and live as your life is a continual vacation, to do what's fun for you in the moment. See, the thing that prevents you from this is that you think, well, Adam, if I just like loosen my grip, then I won't get the important thing. See? That's the whole thing I'm trying to say. If I loosen my grip, I won't get the important thing that's on the pedestal. So what I'm saying, in order to get the thing off the pedestal so that it's actually so close to you that it's basically already yours and you can just kind of reach out and grab it, and it's like not far away, but it's natural. All the manifestation teachings on YouTube, all the spirituality teachings are saying to seek first the kingdom of heaven, feel good first. Don't base your happiness on external things. Seek first the kingdom of heaven. First live like you're on continual vacation. Afford yourself the freedom to have fun. And then all these things will be added on to you. Because they don't seem so far away. It's natural and easy for you. You can just be a dude. You can just be a regular guy or a regular girl. And the point is, another thing I wanted to mention in this video is like, don't think you need to change yourself so much in order to get what you want, because that's the pedestal mentality again. well, if I just do all this self-actualization, this is me, this is how I was. If I just do all this self-actualization and I read all these books and I do all this meditation and I grind it out and I hustle and I, you know, build myself and grow myself, see, then I'll be worthy. I'll prove my worth. I'll be perfect to then finally be able to get that money that I want, or those clients that I want, or that freedom to be myself, because that's what everyone wants. It's just the freedom to relax, express, and be yourself, and have fun and live life on your terms. That's what you want. But I was putting it too far away. It seemed like it required so much work to get to, which actually made it caused me a lot of suffering. And this tendency of whenever you're fighting or grinding ever, or wherever you find yourself in a situation where you don't want to be in, ask yourself, what's stopping me right now from just chilling out and doing what I want and relaxing and just living on my terms, doing what I want? You'll notice the thing that's stopping you is usually a reason, okay? The reason is usually about getting something later. Some important thing needs to be gotten later. Or some pain needs to be avoided later. Some future pain needs to be avoided. Or some future pleasure needs to be secured. All right? That's basically the source of all suffering states, where you're basically an NPC in someone else's game. You're a side character. You're not the main character. You're not free to do what you want. You don't have the luxury to live life on your terms. You don't have the freedom to create the art that you want, and it makes you money. So you can just relax and live in your own house and, travel and have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, just be your authentic self. You can't afford that. Because you're not worthy, you need to work harder. Yeah, your natural way of being is not good enough. It needs to be better. So one thing you can do is you can accept the parts of yourself that you've been trying so hard to change. That no matter how hard you try, whether it's a bad habit, whether it's usually a bad habit or a vice or a certain quality of yours, even if you've tried 50 times to change it and it never goes away, the only thing left to do is to accept it, to own it, to love it, to make it part of you, add it into your repertoire of your unique personality, make it part of you. But Adam, isn't that weakness? No, that's not weakness, that's actually intelligence. Like, for example, one of my coaches, Quasi Johar from realitycreator.com, he basically just teaches transurfing. That's his whole thing. Actually, every single successful person that's basically teaching law of attraction or success nowadays on the internet is basically just teaching transurfing. And if they're not, it's usually just a pendulum that's trying to hook you, where it's like, grind harder, fight harder, do the thing you don't want, right? That doesn't work, because those people are usually not happy, and you can feel it from their voice, from their energy, from their vibes. Just grind harder. But then you can tell there's like bags under their eyes, and they're like sad. It's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't listen to your advice. Yeah, so he had this thing where he just loved smoking cigars. And he was like shy about it, because he thought he had to be this like spiritual identity of like, being this like example human, that, if I smoke cigars, then people won't think I'm personally developed enough to like coach them in their life. But Quasi's a scholar of reality transurfing and of Tufty the Priestess, which is the same author. And what he did was he learned, he's like, you know what? Why don't I just accept the fact that I smoke cigars and actually make it part of my personality? And so what he did was he created this sales video for his like highest ticket coaching mastermind, and he actually added it in as part of the mastermind. Like, hey, if you want to be part of this high-level business mastermind, you could come hang out with me and smoke cigars, and we'll just chill out and chat business, right? So it was something that he was ashamed of it, but then he owned it. And then once he owned it, it was like it wasn't a big deal anymore. And then it was fine. It was like, oh, who the fuck am I to judge this guy who smokes cigars? You know, he can do whatever the hell he wants to do. Because when you afford yourself the right to do what you genuinely want to do, and you afford others that right as well. Let them be themselves. Don't try to change them, okay? But then let you be yourself. Don't let others try to change you as well. You know, do the Gandhi thing, right? Non-violent resistance. Like, yeah, I hear you. I agree with you. And I'm not going to do what you're telling me to do because it's against my heart and I don't want that. All right? I respect you. I love your input. Thank you. I'm not going to do that because I'm a human being and I have inherent value. This is another thing I've been learning is like recently, the last few weeks, I've been learning like I am an authority. I'm an authority. Maybe because I'm a white male. Who knows, right? But it's nothing to do with me being a white male. Every human being, you know, regardless of your skin color, your age, your gender, every human being inherently has authority. But recently I've been feeling like I've been taking it back. Meaning that no other person is better than me, or is like not better than me, but also not worse than me either. Like everyone is equally valuable and everyone deserves to have their rights respected. The right, what's the right? The right to be yourself and to allow others to be themselves as well. All right. What this does when you, like everything I just said in this video, you need to honestly go back, okay? Go back to the start, watch the video again, because I know, yeah, you can increase my watch time as well. Thank you for that. You know, I'll give you virtual props. I'll give you a lollipop or whatever. Thank you. But everything I said, I've went over a lot of powerful reality creation principles that will allow you to shift your internal vibrational frequency to the timeline of being your true, highest, authentic self that already has the freedom and the luxury to do what you want in your life. Not that you have to wait for it, or you have to set up for it, or you can't afford it. So you gotta, you know, you need to have it now. Have the freedom to do what you want and have fun and live life on your terms and travel. Even if you can't afford to travel out of the country, okay, that's fine. Travel around your neighborhood. Go, you know, explore the scenery, right? Have fun, relax, talk to the townsfolk, see what they're doing, you know, like enjoy where you're at, live as if you're already on a continual vacation. And you'll find that what this does is it shifts your timeline to things just work out best case scenario. And that's another thing you need to remember is that if something goes wrong or doesn't go your way, you need to trust that that's just not part of the flow. If something like, let's say you're making plans with a friend, you know, for the last 2 hours you've been back and forth on the phone, and then, you know, you show up to the meeting spot and then your friend cancels. See, the stupidest thing you could do, which is what we've been conditioned to do, is to like get angry. Fucking asshole, you know, fucking my whole day is ruined, you know, the hell, what a rude thing. Don't do that. See, just, like, you have to take this attitude of, like, it was meant to be. Oh, he canceled on me. Well, maybe we just weren't meant to meet right now. He's got his own life going on. You know, okay, well, here I am at the meeting spot. Well, what's the next exciting thing? Okay, my friend canceled. well, at least I got to come out here. This is a nice spot. Let me go to the shop, or let me go meet someone else. Or maybe I was destined to come out here because something beneficial will happen to me. It'll help me along my flow. It'll be fun. So what I'm asking, what everything I'm telling you, all principles for how to stay on your ideal timeline. So what does this mean? Quantum physics tells us that reality is just a field of alternatives at the most atomic level. It's just like a possibility space. So as above, so below, right? There's a mirror there, right? So your life itself is a possibility space. When you feel depressed and sad and you grinding and you hate your life and everything sucks and everything goes the wrong way, it's because you've unknowingly shifted onto the wrong timeline, where you're an NPC in someone else's character, in someone else's movie, and you're forced to do a bunch of shit that you don't want to do. Like a slave. And because it tricked your mind with the hooks of importance. Oh, but I have to do what I don't want to do, because then money, then sex, then validation, and then this and that, right? So there's the importance, right? So transurfing tells us just to take that power back a little bit. You know what? Maybe I don't need as much money as I thought I did. Maybe worst case scenario, and I'm broke, maybe I'll just catch a flight to Thailand and go live in one of the monasteries. I'll shave my head and be a monk and do the meditations. That's something I actually did in my life a couple years back. And it's not that bad. It's actually a pretty chill life. I don't have to pay no money at all. All I got to do is show up. Hey guys, I want to meditate. Okay, thanks. Here's your room. Great. Here's your food. Great. Okay, then all I got to do is meditate and then help around the monastery. I got to pray. That's it. No money required. So worst case scenario. Worst case. That doesn't sound so bad. So this is what I'm saying is the illusion. You don't need money as much as you think you do. You don't need sex as much as you think you do. You don't need validation as much as you think you do. You're using all these things to fill the void in your heart that's essentially coming from you not feeling good. And why don't you feel good? Ready? Because you don't do what feels good in the moment, because you're afraid that you're not allowed. You think if I do what feels good on the YouTube video, then I won't get clients. Or, if I make a joke about the Holocaust or about something taboo, even if it's authentic, then I won't get the validation, the approval, the views, the this, the that, the sex, people get mad at me, whatever, right? All I'm saying is, when you do you, genuinely, courageously, bravely, with this faith, this like Indiana Jones in the movie The Last Crusade, where there's this chasm that has no bridge. It's just like a giant chasm, but in order to cross the bridge, you need to have faith. The cave painting said that the bridge is invisible, but you just gotta kind of step out onto it and trust that it's there. You can't see it, but there's this giant chasm below you. There's like spikes sticking out of the ground with people impaled through their asshole up, out their esophagus, just like impaled. But the point is that you have faith anyways, that the bridge is going to come up under your feet by following your highest excitement on a moment-to-moment basis. This is also called following your passion. I've spoken about this. Following your passion is not about getting some idea in your mind of what your passion is theoretically in your mind. Following your passion is a moment-to-moment flow. What are you passionate about now? Maybe you're passionate about going to have a smoothie like I am. Maybe you're passionate about going for a walk or doing a cartwheel or going to climb a tree and hang from the branch, to jump up and down, to sing a song, to call your friend on the phone, to smoke a joint, to, touch yourself, to have sex, to do what you want to do. You're free. If it's in the flow of passion, so this is what I'm talking about, your highest timeline, being in the flow, what that means is like you're following your true self and you're not letting your boundaries of like, you need to set boundaries of like, I deserve to be able to just do what I want today. Trusting that it will work. My goal will work. So another thing to ensure that your goal works is you can visualize a slide or a scenario where you already have the thing that you want, whether it's the house. Like when I was 18 years old, I really wanted to move out of my parents' house to make YouTube videos. So what I did was for a month, every night before I went to bed, I was reading Think and Grow Rich, and there's this idea, you sit and you visualize, psycho-cybernetics as well, for 15 minutes before bed or, a couple times a day, you visualize already having the house that you want. And what I was visualizing was that feeling of freedom, knowing that I have the security and the safety to record the videos that are coming from my heart. That's what I wanted. The security and the safety to record the videos that were coming from my heart. That was my true authentic goal. I found my true goal. That's what it was. So I visualized that for a month. I had no money for rent. I had no idea how to even make money at all. But spontaneously, out of the blue, a friend of mine said he was going on a trip to Costa Rica. And he said he needed someone to sublet his room that he was renting in Toronto. And he just thought to ask me for some reason. I said yes, because that was like, yes, of course. Yeah, there we go. Within a month, I was moved out of my parents' house. And the sublet was very cheap. It was good because I didn't need to show my credit score. I didn't have a job at the time, so I didn't need to prove my credibility, or I didn't need to approve my income or anything like this because I didn't have much income. All I needed was just the frickin' room to live in on my own so I can record. And then within a month or two of doing that and now moving out, living on my own, then I signed my first coaching client for a few $1,000s, and I had more and more, etc. So the point of that story is that you need to practice feeling the way you would feel as if you already had the thing that you want, and you just need to get used to it. Because the problem is, energetically, right now, you're actually pushing away your goal. You're pushing it away because you're energetically not ready for it. You don't feel comfortable and safe with the feeling of already having what you want because you didn't practice. So one tool you can use is this living on a continual vacation tool. Another thing is to visualize the wish already fulfilled. Now there's a lot of principles I covered in this video. Like I mentioned, you may want to go back and you may want to actually listen to what was said. Certain things like visualizing worst case scenario and accepting it, realizing it's not a big deal. Reducing importance, not putting things on a pedestal. Setting energetic boundaries, meaning like I'm free to do what I want and others are free to do what they want. Becoming the authority in your own reality. So go back, review a lot of the principles that I just talked about in this video. You need to understand that what I'm saying here is that you are free to be who you want to be now. All right? You don't have to change yourself to get something else from others. You're good already. All right? And yeah, if you want to learn more, you should read Reality Transurfing for yourself. And you should also check out this video here. It's a long one. It's about pendulums. That video I put a lot of work into, and it'll teach you everything you need to know about this collective thought energy that manifests to kind of hook into your mind and take you off your ideal timeline, your ideal lifeline. The pendulums are the number one thing that's going to trick you. So if you want to educate yourself about that, you can click that video I made. Otherwise, subscribe for more videos, and I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.